So we've talked about buying apartments and the process that goes into it. And of course, with the price range that comes for apartments and houses, a lot of young people, I think everybody and their grandmother wants to own a part of something. Everybody wants to own the house they live under. So home ownership is a big dream. But with the cost that's in a kujanga that you need, the amount you need to spend, what are your options in financing your dream? How do you meet your dream ideally? Ya kuown nyumba. Na hiyo do, how do you pay for it? So in the next section, we're going to talk about financing, your financing options that are there for today. Let's talk about apartments. And I think now we'll go back to our professional today. So what are our options?
For financing,
there
are varied options for it.
Yeah.
There will pay cash, right? You've come up to some money, 10M or more. You've won a jackpot somewhere.
Yeah.
You can pay cash. Most times, most developers want cash payers because ideally it tips the balance for them.
Yeah.
It's money they can make today.
Instant cash, yeah.
Yes, so they'll ideally serve the cash buyer first. There are also financing agreements with banks for the places people work.
Yeah.
Ideally, you work, say, in a certain bank or organization that gives you access to a loan, right? A financing option, so the bank pays or your organization pays the buyer, then you pay, you work and they deduct. There's that, and then there's this mortgage that has been thrown about. I think the word has been around for a bit. There are mortgages that ordinarily are available to buy houses.
Yeah.
And on the mortgages, apart from government employees, a lot of people get mortgages that are very expensive. So ideally, mortgages are usually long-term.
Yeah, I think before we get there, I want us to go into each of these options that we went to put here.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, let's start with cash.
Yeah.
What is there any advantage that comes out of me buying an apartment outright in cash? Yeah,
I think everyone who buys in cash immediately gets a lower price.
Or you get a better deal.
You get a better deal. If you're paying in cash, there are apartments that cost, say, 16 million. If you pay cash, they'll come down to 14. Because you see, cash is king at the end of the day. And cash allows the developer to offset. Because ideally, the guys who built, they've put in 100 million. So if you're giving them, 10.
Yeah, you're giving like 10% of it.
Absolutely. So it's money they can put elsewhere. So cash is, ideally, if you can do it in cash, it's good. But also now, depending on here is purely on the real estate bit.
Yeah.
It's going to take to be a hit to your pocket, but ideally you're going to get a better deal if you're going to do it in cash.
Are there pitfalls? Could someone argue that if you only have 10 million, then it doesn't make sense. But if you have 100 million, then probably it makes sense.
Now that one you discuss with the accountant.
Yeah.
I think on the negotiating table, if you have cash is king.
Cash is king.
But whatever happens behind the scenes with your banker, with your wife, it takes a lot of money from your pocket if you have just 10 million. Yeah. So if you just have 10 million, then you can look for other options.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see, ideally you can put the capital to work somewhere else. Okay. Yeah. But ideally, on real estate terms, cash is king. Yeah.
So the other option that you're talking about, your finance, let's say by your workplace. Yes. For example, I understand when you're buying a car through financing, that you co-own the car title. Yeah. What is it called? The logbook. Yes. You co-own.
Yeah.
So in that case, do you co-own that apartment with your?
Yes,
with your workplace.
Yes, ideally your workplace is going to have an arrangement with a bank most times. Okay. Yeah, so they are going to the title is going to be registered in both your names. Yeah. Then once you're done, you discharge it. Ideally, the bank is going to charge that facility to that title that is in your name. Yeah. So ideally, just own the place after you're done paying. So the transaction is incomplete until you pay. or until after you've paid.
Yeah, but in this case, it's I think because you're not making a big payment.
Yeah.
So for someone who has other things to do with money, it's probably a better option.
It's a better option if you have kids in school, if you're doing other projects.
Other business,
It's soft because assume you make 300,000 a month. You have a good arrangement. They are deducting 50,000 a month.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense for a lot of guys.
What about these schemes rent to own?
I'm not very familiar with them because they're very foreign in Nairobi, for example. They're not. A lot of these concepts come from abroad.
Yeah.
In the US, they have a well-developed real estate market. Yeah. So there are so many options. Technically, in the US, very few people own land and own houses. Ideally, you own just the house on top of the land. So the land ideally is owned by the government. Yeah. So those rent to own, I may not be able to speak to them in detail because there are very few in Nairobi. Yeah. And they're not very well developed because you see, this is a long-term financial commitment. So if you're going to deal with someone for 20 years, then they have to be an established institution. Most developers don't.
And I think they've only been done by government.
Absolutely.
For example, Buruburu, Umoja, back in the day, I think that's how they used to.
Government can do that. I think also with financing, people who work for government have better deals. That's why you've had members of parliament talking about it. They get very good deals because government knows, they're going to deduct cash from government. So everyone wants to do that. And they'll give you very good rates. So people who work for government, civil servants, I would advise them to think about those options.
Financing,
including mortgages. Because mortgages.
So the other thing is mortgage.
Mortgages are ideally the terms are good if you work for government. But in the long term, the house is going to be expensive. So ideally, if a house is 16 million, for example, if you pay cash, you could do 14. If you pay mortgage, you could do 22 at the end of it, and you pay over a long duration of time. So it's a long-term commitment.
And in there's some few acts we talked about. I'm sure mortgages is covered in one of those acts.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think for the mortgage part, I think it's a whole other conversation to be had on the terms that are there for it, and we'll have that conversation some other time.
Yes.
So the mortgage is the last one. Is there anything else that's...
There are also gifts. There are guys who are given apartments, man. There are people who your girlfriend likes you, they buy you an apartment. Your boyfriend likes you, your husband likes you, they buy you an apartment. Those are valid home ownership directions. There are people who inherit property. A lot of people statistically come to ownership by inheritance. Yes, a lot of, in fact, in rural Kenya, nearly everyone owns a place by inheritance. So that's also something else. Gifts,
Okay. So, there's a conversation that I've had people say. In Kenya, for African people, there's a big there's a big argument that you should own land. Your father will tell you, your grandfather will tell you. And there's a time they were comparing with Indians, and they say that Indians in Kenya rent apartments for years and years. And they just put that money into something else. What do you think about that?
I think that is true because you see, home ownership is expensive.
It's probably is it true that it's probably the biggest investment that someone will
in your lifetime? I think statistically you will own either one or none. One home. Very few guys own more than one home. It's long term, it's expensive. But there's a case to be made for renting. I think renting options are cheaper because renting allows you to live in estates you cannot buy in. For example, if you want to rent for 50,000, you're probably in Nairobi, you're renting an apartment that is worth 6 million, 7 million, 8 million. Very few guys can pay that. So if you own an apartment that you rent for 100,000, you probably, that apartment is probably 18, 20 million. What renting does is that, first of all, it gives you freedom. It gives you freedom that today I can live in Nairobi, can move to Mombasa tomorrow. All I need to do is give my landlord notice.
No notice,
If you own a house in Nairobi, if you're going to move, you could move. But you could move. You move to Nairobi. You have to have a plan for what you do with the property you have here. So home ownership is, and the reason African parents like it is that it settles you. It sits you down. You cannot travel.
Yeah.
You cannot move. You cannot just wake up and leave.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, stability is important.
That security and stability.
Security.
Yeah.
And a lot of, I think the conversation, and people get it wrong, the conversation to be had for home ownership is that it's not a financial, it doesn't have to make financial sense. Yeah. Most people do not buy it to make money. Yeah. They buy it to fulfill personal, psychological desires. Yeah. Some people want to sleep well at night knowing they're not paying anyone. Yeah. So that is a.
And I think that's something that happened in 2020.
Yeah.
When a lot of people lost their jobs, something happened and income was short.
Yeah.
The people who were living in their own houses.
Yeah.
I think there's some relief that they had.
Yeah.
Because hustle yao tu ni chakula, really.
Absolutely. But now with COVID pushed a lot of people into home ownership because they discovered that something can come and where I make money, I no longer make constant income. So I need a place where I can hide, place where my kids can be safe in an environment that I like. Yeah. But the reason people rent is that assuming you have 10 million, if you rent an apartment, assuming you rent 50,000 a month, you can put the 9,999.50 into another project that makes money, that pays
gives you
rent.
100
exactly,
or 200.
Yes. And I think we'll get to a point where people stop looking at houses the way they do, because renting is cheaper. If you buy an apartment, for example, you have to pay service charge. You have to pay, there are hidden costs, maintenance, landscaping. There are people who own property where they pay 100,000, 200,000 for those things, running the place.
What?
Yeah. Because if you say buy an apartment in Kilimani, you have no tenant, assuming you have a home somewhere else. That apartment needs to be cleaned. Fixtures need to work. Toilets need to be flushed, right? Even as you paint has to be done. Security is your business. So ideally, most
even
people,
insurance probably.
Absolutely. So most people who are smart about money, they rent.
You know, you said something interesting. You said that with 50K you can rent an apartment that's probably worth 6 million. And that makes me wonder, how much is the owner of that property actually making?
You see, that's a problem.
Is there, what's the return on the investment?
A return on investment in Kenya, a good return on investment should be around 10 years. But a lot of buyers in Kenya don't look at return on investment. They just want to buy. Right? They don't do the math. But most properties in Kenya, the return on investment is 16 years. 16 years is a long time. If you're looking at it purely on a financial basis, it's a terrible investment.
Especially when you're dealing with like a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartment.
4 bedrooms are terrible for business. In fact, the best property to own, if you're looking to make money, is bedsitters, 1 bedroom. Because on a block, assuming that block we are talking about, you've bought an apartment. If you bought an apartment that is sectioned into bedsitters, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Again, it goes back to density of supply. There are very many people who are looking for bedsitters, and very many people who can afford them.
True.
1 bedroom's the same. So you find that I have a client who has 3 apartments in Nairobi. They have one on Bagathi, they have one in Kilimani, then they have one, I think, in Kileleshwa. And there are times they go for 6 months without tenants because they are 3-bedroom, all en suite apartments, 150,000 a month.
So the number of people who...
Yes, you need someone who makes close to $1 million bob.
And how much are they renting that for?
150, 130, 120.
And probably someone is thinking with that amount they can get a standalone house.
Absolutely.
Somewhere in Karen or something.
And then there are very new Chinese buildings that are coming up that are cheaper. So a 3-bed is like 70,000. So why would I come to your apartment? So as people buy apartments, also that conversation is important because if you own more than 1 apartment in Nairobi, the other one has to be making you money. If it doesn't make you money, then you're paying for it, because apart from what you pay for finance, you're paying for just running the place, ensuring the place is in good condition. All right. Which is expensive.
So if you're buying an apartment not for your own living, for investment, you should probably consider apartments lower sizes. Don't target the high-end market.
The high-end market is terrible for business. it goes back to like there are very few takers for the other side. Because if you're looking to buy, this is what I advise guys. This is ideally free consultation. If you have 10 million to spend it on 2 properties, a 1 bed and a 2 bed, or a 1 bed and a 1 bed. Because 1 beds never lack. They have students, guys starting life, professionals, people with families elsewhere. There are people who have families in Nakuru, they work in Nairobi, they look for that unit. Then they pay is 20,000, 30,000, they're about 40,000. Manageable, a lot of people can pay that. But if you get one apartment that 150,000, a lot of guys will not be able to pay it. So we try to tell people, but you see, the prestige bit for people is that I own an apartment in Kilimani. And if you walk around, you can go to Kilimani today and there are so many vacant apartments. But if you go to what they call, I've heard government saying they want people out of pipeline, but it's a cost issue, rent price issue. People can afford that to rent there. It's not that there are no apartments in Kilimani. They have so many of them. But they want 80,000, 90,000, 70,000, 50,000. A lot of people cannot pay that. So real estate has to be looked at as a cost affording issue. Renting price affording issue. Like a lot of people cannot afford 50,000. So they'll go to units they can afford 15,000, 20,000. Yes. It's not that we don't like to live in.
Everybody would like to.
Everyone would like to live in a 4-bed. But they cannot afford it. And in fact, very few people have enough resources to furnish a 4-bed. But everyone can furnish a bed sitter.
Even someone who just moved from home.
Absolutely.
With a bed.
You need a bed, a table, somewhere to cook. That's it.
They're done.
And you make money. Look at it this way. If you say you own an apartment in Muthaiga, there's an apartment called Muthaiga Square. Muthaiga Square. Those apartments are really nice. Very nice. Very nice apartments. But if they charge a certain amount, they are worse off than owning an apartment in Ruaka, where you have someone all the time. In real estate, we say it's better to own a property in Mathare than to own a property in Muthaiga if you're looking to make money. Because in Muthaiga, you have 1 property, you're charging 400,000. If you get a good diplomat, UN guys, they're going to pay you that cash. Corporate CEOs and all that. But the day they leave,
replacement,
you're not going to be able to replace them in a short time. It will take you 3 years.
I have a client. I had a client. I think he had apartments in Mwiki. And he was telling me that there's usually like a wait list.
Absolutely.
Like huyu akihama kuna mtu ana inajulikana like months earlier than nani anahama. And it's so there's never downtime for them.
What happens with those apartments? So as you wait for your Muthaiga property to have someone, you're paying groundsman, you're paying service charge, you're paying, you're paying 100,000.
Even security. And then those costs don't occur on that other side.
On the other side, you own say 100 units in Mathare. You're charging 4,000 bob. It's still 400,000. So you're making 400,000 in rent every month, both of you. But that guy, if one guy lives in Mathare, he's taking away 4,000 from 4. You have 396,000. If 2 guys leave, you have 392,000, right? So those landlords are liquid all the time. They make better money.
And cash is king.
Cash is king at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether you have an address in Muthaiga. Cash is king. Because even most people who own property there live in leafy suburbs. It's good business. In Mwiki and Kasarani and Ruaka and Pipeline, there are people who move out without even letting their landlords know. So ideally, I move out, I tell you I'm moving out, you want my place.
So we just
switch. Landlord at the end of the month. Landlord mwisho wa mwezi. So
hiyo unit imeingia ana shughuli naye anaisha.
So don't spend time buying big apartments that are going to be hard to find someone for.
But now what does that say about the real estate scene in Kenya, whereby we still see apartments coming up? Is it that these developers have not done the what is it called?
They don't do feasibility studies. It's a fact.
They've not done feasibility studies.
They're solving the wrong problem. Because you see, Nairobi has a pricing problem, not a building problem.
Okay.
You guys are building. Architects are building. In fact, there are very few architects who don't have work. You know, contractors on site. People are building. Building we build, but we don't price properly. Our pricing structure in Nairobi is ego-driven.
Yeah.
We decide, I own an apartment in Kilimani, I'll charge you 150,000. You don't ask yourself, okay, so what does the customer think? Right? And people who make money in real estate kill it on the pricing. They get the right price for the right unit. There's a sweet spot that you get.
It.
In Kilimani, that sweet spot is 70,000 bob. In Kileleshwa, 85. Yeah. So if you come in and you big ego, you say, you know, I'm giving you parking, swimming pool, I want 120,000. Even guys who can afford that, I still go to 70,000.
You'll get something. But then you get something at 120, you'll probably get something better somewhere else.
So you when you own property, you've bought an apartment, you want to make money on it, consider that. Also, if you consider you still want to buy a big apartment, 3-bed, consider what we call short-term rentals. You can do Airbnb. You can do
serviced apartments.
Serviced apartments. You can let them to companies. There are a lot of companies in Nairobi that have experts coming in. So they need apartments on Riverside. They need some in Westlands. So you need to, once you buy the place, you have to, furnish it in the right way.
The right taste.
Absolutely. These guys have, these guys are guys who are coming from the UK, from the US, from Dubai. So these guys need certain amenities that have to be top. So once you can invest in that, you're going to make better money.
Would you maybe have some closing remarks?
I am a big advocate for if you're going to want to make money in real estate, look at small units. I think if you take away anything from this conversation, cash is king at the end of the day. And if you want to make money, the best way to make money is by either building or buying smaller units. You can have as many, because also it diversifies your portfolio. There's something called real estate portfolio. If you're a proper investor, you want a diversified portfolio. You own one apartment in Ruaka, one apartment in Syokimau, one apartment, small units there. So you're making money here, money there. As dynamics change, you're making some money here. And also people need to trust lawyers more and professionals more. The same way you need an architect who is trained to do a good job, a civil engineer, all those things, structural. The same way you need these guys at the other side, because they are going to save you from getting into a lot of financial.
I like something you said. Sometime we're having a conversation kasema kununua nyumba si kununua mandazi. Because you're spending a lot of money. There's no way you wouldn't hire someone to do the due diligence.
If you're spending 16 million on a unit, you can afford to retain someone or two guys for less than 300,000.
That's true.
If you spend 150,000 on a lawyer or 150 on another professional, the smarter people in the market, they will sit down. They're going to say, I get paid, you're a medical doctor, you write software. They're going to say, I need to hire someone to assist me to buy a house. So even as you budget, you're going to budget for those people. So you're going to say, in this process, I'll pay this guy. I don't want to ever want to have a conversation with a developer to negotiate. No, it's your job to do that. Get me a good deal. So all you'll be waiting for are reports and feedback. And at the end of the day, you're going to be in a better position.
So for the closing remark, I think Pierre, I wanted to ask you. You're a young guy in Nairobi. You understand the real estate market vizuri. So personal question, what is your ideal life?
My personal opinion is that I want to make money here. We make a lot of real estate money here, but because the market is good. But ultimately, I would want to live outside of town. Limuru, rather quiet. Where we can get things from the farm directly, because quality of living in real estate is not how big the apartment is,
and how good your finishes are.
Yes, or how nice the toilet flushes. It's not that. It's usually other things. It's usually whether your kids can walk outside, whether they are safe to play outside, whether you're woken up by matatus or birds. Ama whether you can work properly during the day without noise, because there are people who work from home now. So people should look at life that way, so that you could own rental units in Nairobi that make you money, but ultimately it's personal choice.
All right, so again, thank you for having the conversation with us. Imekuwa really insightful, and we really hope to have you back again. And for viewers, we really hope we've given you value, and we hope that from this discussion we can have further discussions. Is there something that wasn't clear? Would you like to ask him something? Would you like consultation? So I'll link his website at the bottom of this video, and you can reach out to him and for your real estate needs. So Kefa, thank you for
thank you.
All right.
Yeah, pleasure is mine.